Welcome everyone to this training session on configuring POETs with OPUS Solution Environment, otherwise known as OSE. Let's go through the agenda to start with. So first of all, I'm going to give an introduction to OSE. Then we'll take a look at the OSE architecture, navigating the OPUS Ensemble user interface, how to prepare to configure a solution. We'll take a look at business object types in OSE, how to configure pages, how to configure menu items, roles, workflows, and then finally releasing a company solution. So let's start with the OSE introduction. To start, let's first understand some basic terminologies related to the OPUS platform. User experience in the orchestrating platform for universal solutions, that's OPUS, consists of an application, which is a headless API, and the solution, which provides the user interface. What this means is you can configure the UI for your users while the programming that controls the application remains the same. For example, Agile Process Teams is an application of process orchestration for empowered teams, POET, i.e. the POET solution. Likewise, for OSE, also Solution Builder is an application, and OPUS Solution Environment, or OSE, is a solution. So why do we need OSE? Let's begin with a quick scenario. Medavonic's current inventory management system is found to be inefficient and requires some modifications to improve transparency and decision-making. To optimize the inventory management system, they need to collaborate with multiple stakeholders, for example, the sales team, procurement team, etc. They use POET's item feature to collaborate with multiple stakeholders to get the updated inventory management system up and running as quickly as possible. However, the standard POET feature does not meet the current requirements, necessitating a custom solution. For that, they need to configure the item feature to modify fields on the search item page to match the company's terminology, add a new role to control access, configure the workflow to add a new substate. Using OSE, they can configure the above. So what can be configured? With OSE, you can effortlessly configure business objects, pages, menus, workflows, roles, and policies with an intuitive no-code drag-and-drop interface. We'll dive deeper into each of these elements in the upcoming sections. Now onto OSE architecture. So TraceLink uses metadata to enable its no-code capabilities and then pushes these metadata definitions as far down in the stack as possible. There are three main layers of the stack. Business object metadata. The business object layer is where we define object types, fields, and operations, which form the core characteristics and behaviors of an application, laying the foundation for how the system functions. User interface, UI metadata. The user interface metadata layer configures predefined page types, for example, search, view, edit, and new pages, to create a seamless no-code user experience. Solution metadata. The solution metadata integrates and fine-tunes the user experience by controlling menus, roles, and policies, ensuring that authorized users can access the features they need in a structural and efficient way. Let's take a closer look at the business object layer. We define and configure primary objects. These refer to the things users manage and are familiar with. Business objects represent the domain of an application such that users intuitively know what to do when working with them. For example, item, work item, etc. Fields. The fields refer to the characteristics of the business objects. For example, item name, item category, item description, etc. And lastly, operations. The operations refer to the actions a user can perform on a given business object. For example, buttons or options on the screen like new item, edit item, etc. Let's now explore the various OSE personas. OPUS developer. This person develops multi-enterprise applications and standard solutions for TraceLink's customers. So basically, they manage the standard solution sections of the catalogs. We'll see the catalog in a minute. Solution designer, solution partner. Configure solutions for industry needs that they can then publish in the marketplace solutions section of the catalog. Solution designer customer. configures their own company solutions to their companies and trade partners' unique requirements. Their solutions are maintained in the company solutions section of the catalog. And finally, your end users who either use a standard solution or a company solution applied to a particular process network. Just note, solution partners could also develop company solutions on behalf of their clients and TraceLink customers. The OPUS Solution Catalog is a place where OPUS solutions are organized into 3 categories: standard solutions, marketplace solutions, and company solutions. The standard solutions are developed by TraceLink's OPUS developer and are not configurable by customers. These come pre-installed once you license any application, for example, Poet. Standard solutions solve the common use cases. Marketplace solutions are crafted by TraceLink solution partners and TraceLink professional services, who leverage their understanding of diverse customer use cases to create tailored solutions. These partners can configure and publish multiple solutions within the marketplace, allowing organizations to select and implement solutions that best fit their specific operational needs. This flexibility empowers businesses to adapt existing solutions or develop new ones, enhancing their ability to address unique challenges and optimize workflows effectively. Company solutions provides the power for companies to make their own configurations. Imagine these are exclusive copies for the company which other companies do not get to see. A company solution can be created by saving a standard or marketplace solution. Once saved, they can configure the solutions and start using them right away. TraceLink solution partners and TraceLink professional services teams can also assist customers in configuring company solutions to ensure a perfect fit. The company solution can also be published as a marketplace solution. Let's now take a look at how to navigate the OPUS Ensemble user interface. OPUS Ensemble powers browser-like navigation across OPUS solutions. Key areas of OPUS user interface are user context. This is prominently placed at the top, ensuring users always have their bearings. This fixed area provides a reliable and familiar interaction journey. The navigation. This clearly guides users to their desired solution, network, or business object, facilitating easy content exploration while enabling parallel work through tabs. The main content area. This provides a rich, interactive space for effortless engagement, whether consuming or collaborating. Toolbar and push panel provides convenient access to key actions. So we're going to take a quick look at the OPUS Ensemble user interface now. So here I am in OPUS. I've logged into OPUS already. And if you go to My Networks here, I'm already in My Networks. So I've got the tab open and you just select your desired network. So we're going to select Poet, for example, in this particular case and select Go. So you have the user context, which is placed at the top. And as mentioned, that always reminds you of the environment you're in. So you've got the user settings, help center, and support links are easily accessible here. On the side menu, this allows you to navigate within the user interface. So this is where the main menu is. Then you've got the main content area, which provides that interactive space for effortless engagement. And then you've got the toolbar and push panel above here. So if we click on filter, for example, a push panel will appear there. So coming back to the presentation now, we'll talk about the OSE user interface. So the left side panel, or menu rather, is organized into 3 main sections. We have catalog, available, and solution. Each section contains subcategories to help you navigate and manage different aspects of OSE. So catalog, this section contains the main categories of solutions available in the OPUS environment. As discussed before, under catalog, we have standard solutions, marketplace solutions, and company solutions. In the available section, all configurations, ready solutions, and business object types are listed. And in the solutions section, this contains various business object subtypes that you can configure as per your company requirements. Workflows allow you to extend standard workflows by configuring workflow states and transitions to meet your company requirements. New pages, search pages, and view edit pages allow you to configure existing pages or create new pages for your solution. Using menus, you define navigation menus that control how users access different parts of the solution. And with roles, you set up user roles to control access and permissions within the solution. And finally, using authorizations, you manage fine-grained access control and permissions for different users or role. So let's now see some action in OSE. First, we'll start with preparing a solution for configuration. To get started with configuring the solution, you need to first save the standard solution or a marketplace solution as a company solution. Once you do that, the saved solution will be available in the Available Company Solutions section. This is necessary because you can't edit the standard solutions directly. Once you see the solution in the Available Company Solution, you can then edit the solution and configure it. Let's see how to create a company solution in the next demo. So coming into OPUS Solution Environment, you go to the main menu and then go to Catalog and Marketplace Solutions. I'm just going to filter here and select Process Orchestration for Empowered Teams as the application and apply. Just going to expand this. And I'm going to just take the latest version of manufacturing incidents. So click into it and then save as. So I'm just going to give it a unique solution name. And then I'll give it the same description name as well. And apply. And the time it takes for the solution to appear in the catalog may vary based on the solution's size and complexity. To view or edit the newly created company solution, in the side menu, you would then go to Available and Company Solutions. Here's the solution I've just created. And then just to view or edit the newly created company solution, once it's in an edit state and the value in the activated state shows no, it means you can still make changes to the solution. So as we can see, it's edit and it's not activated yet. However, those changes will only take effect after the solution is activated. If the solution is already activated but still in the edit state, you can continue to configure it. In this case, any changes you make will be reflected in the active solution immediately, i.e. on the fly. And if we click into it, we can view the details of the company solution in view mode. So we're now going to take a look at what can be configured with OSE. With OSE, you can effortlessly configure business objects, workflows, menus, pages, roles, and policies with an intuitive drag and drop interface. Just note, we won't be covering business objects and policies in detail in this training session. In OSE, business object types are the core data entities that model all real-world processes and transactions. They define how information is structured, exchanged, and governed across the network. Each object type has a schema, data model, a workflow, state transitions, and business logic, rules and validation. They can be customized to include unique attributes per organization. They also support auditing for traceability and can participate in searchability for decentralized ownership. Finally, they maintain relationships with other object types. For example, customers link to their orders, creating a full digital thread across the supply chain. Now on to configuring pages. There are 3 page types: search page, view edit page, and new page. For the search page, the solution designer defines which of the fields from the business object are to be presented in the search results table via drag and drop. Once this is done, the search page knows that clicking on the item field takes the user to the view edit page. Clicking on the hyperlink in the search table will take the user to the view edit page of that object instance. And clicking on the new operation takes the user to the new page. You don't need to define these or any other screen page navigation. It's built into the OPUS opinionated user interface. On the View, Edit, and New pages, just like the search page, you can also drag the fields you want the user to interact with on those pages. You can define multiple view, edit, or new pages based on how many different roles you plan to support. For example, exception cases, customer complaints, supplier issue reports, or inventory adjustment requests, etc. Now let's dive a little deeper into the anatomy of a page. Each page has the highlighted main sections. Content area, this is where the fields are displayed. For search, the fields are presented in tabular form. For view, edit, and new, you view and interact with the fields for a business object. These content areas are organized when the pages are configured via drag and drop. You'll also notice the workflow appearing in the content area. This is because it's just another field with built-in behavior. The user can interact with the workflow field and move business objects through their process in a very intuitive manner. For the toolbar, this is where page-level actions, for example, edit, filter, etc., are presented. With OSE's intuitive drag-and-drop interface, you can effortlessly configure various field types. Simple fields store single values, for example, item name, item category, or reorder date, etc. A group organizes related fields together. For example, a supplier information group might contain multiple simple fields like supplier name, supplier ID, and contact email. A collection is a data element that can hold multiple values within a single object instance. For example, stock replenishment records associated with an inventory item. Each collection inside an object is displayed in its own table, such as a list of past replenishments or shipment receipts tied to that specific item. A panel in OSE is essentially a container or a layout area where we place fields, collections, and UI elements related to a business object. We can think of panels like sections on a web page. You can include tables, form fields, collections, and are fully configurable. There are different types of panels, the most common being the main page panel, which is the default view when you open a page. Then there are push panels, which slide in from the right and let us show or edit additional details without losing visibility into the main page. When you start editing a page, for example, search page, the search page itself is a panel which is called a main page. The default is the main page panel, but if we want to configure details of, say, a line item, we need to explicitly select the corresponding push panel. As best practice, always think of what the user experience should be. Use the main panel for key summary data and push panels for extended details. I'm now going to show you how to configure a search page. Once again in OSE, this time we're going to Solution and Search Pages. I'm going to apply a filter and select my solution and apply. In the page name column, select the Search Manufacturing Incident Owner, then Edit. First, we're going to rename the page title and hide the assistive text. You'll notice when you select the title, for example here, Search Manufacturing Incidents, when you configure the UI properties, you can now change the text. So let's change this to something that resonates more with our particular use case. So we'll change it to Search Medivonic Instance and apply. Now to hide the assistive text, just highlight it here, and then from the toolbar, you'll see that the hide button is now available. So we've hidden that. Now imagine we want to add some additional columns to the table below. So just highlight the table here and select drag and drop. And now you'll be able to add additional columns. So in our instance, let's select affected batch and drag that into the table. And perhaps we also want to add corrective action. Drag that. And you can also reorder the columns if you wish to. Any newly added columns will show at the end of the table, but perhaps we want to move that along. So just select it and then drag and drop. Now let's imagine we want to configure the filter panel. Before we make any changes next, we need to select Save first. and then edit again and select panels and filters and apply. And here we can now start configuring the filter panel. For example, we can change the order of the fields. Perhaps we also want to change the name of one of the labels as well. Perhaps we want to change the title. So just select title here and configure UI properties, and you'll then be able to change the text in this box. So perhaps we want to change this to incident type and apply. And then just be sure to save any changes there. And now to view any changes that we've made, go to Edit, Panels, Main Page, Apply. And let's go into View mode. So here we can see that the assistive text is now hidden. We've renamed the header Search Metavonic Incidents. We've added the additional columns, and if we go to Filter, we can see that we changed the name title to incident type. Here, the side menu consists of various submenus. Submenus are configured to categorize objects by orchestration use case. Everything underneath a submenu is a menu item. Menu items are securely governed by roles, permissions, and policies, ensuring your users have access to only relevant information and operations. With OSE, you can create a unique side menu for different internal users based on their roles. You can design distinct menu experiences for two different partners within the same process network. Even within the same partner, you can create different side menu experiences for different partner users depending on their specific needs. Let's see menu configuration in action. Still in OSE, under Solution, let's go to Menus. Select Add New, and we'll add a menu name. And we'll choose the same for the display name, and then select the solution that you've created. And save. Now we're going to edit this, so select Edit. And let's add a submenu first to contain a menu item in it. So in this section, click on the Add icon. And from the drop-down menu here, select Submenu. So we're going to give this a name of Incidents and display name Incidents as well. Click Apply and Save. Now under Incidents, just select it here. Let's first edit, select Incidents and click on the hierarchy icon and select the new menu item icon. Now we're going to give the name Metavonic Incidents and the same for the display name. Target page type, this is going to be search. And then we need to select the search page. So this is search. Search manufacturing incident owner. Then for auto navigation, select new manufacturing incident owner, and then view edit. Then select apply and save. And if we expand here, we can see Metavonic Incidents as the new menu item in the list. So on to configuring roles now. Users' access to data and operations in a solution is controlled by permissions, roles, and policies. Each of these elements is defined separately, but all three work together to protect your data and ensure your solution meets your company's security standards. Permissions govern what a user can and cannot do inside OPUS. For example, in POET, users may have permissions that allow them to view existing exception cases, edit customer complaint records, or create new supplier issue reports. Each TraceLink product comes with a set of predefined permissions. Roles group together one or more permissions to define the level of access that can be assigned to a user. For example, instead of needing to assign 3 separate permissions to a user so they can view, edit, and create exception cases, those permissions can all be included in a single role called Quality Issue Manager. The role can then be assigned to one or more users at the same time. This approach reduces the chances of incorrect permission assignments to users and ensures the same permissions are consistently applied to users with the same responsibilities. Solution designers can create new roles such as customer service responder or supplier issue reviewer, or modify existing roles by adding or removing permissions. Policies provide the logic that governs the permissions associated with roles. They ensure that users are authorized to perform specific actions based on their assigned roles. Just note that modifying policies is an advanced topic that you should not attempt without consulting with your company's security team and TraceLink Services representative. Let's now take a look at how to create a new role instance in the system. So once again, under Solution, this time you're going to Roles, and we're going to select Add New. We'll enter a role name, and the same for the display name, and select the solution you created. Then save. Now to edit the role, select Edit. And under the Menu Permissions section, select the menu and click on the pen icon and toggle this across to Permitted and save the change. Now on to configuring workflows. Workflows are powerful mechanisms that enhance business process management by providing structure, automation, and integration. Each object, for example, item, comes with a standard workflow. You can view their current state on the New and View Edit page and move through their states on the Edit page. Note, you can't modify the standard workflows. However, you can extend the standard workflow to handle your specific requirements. By doing so, it becomes a configured or company workflow. Substates and transitions. You add substates which are associated to a base state. You add transitions between those substates and to from other base states. You can add transition conditions and post-transition actions to those transitions. This capability is powerful and gives you the flexibility to meet your specific business needs. Let's take a look at how to add a new substate and then how to add a transition. This time, under Solution, go to Workflows. Let's apply a filter. And select our solution and apply. Select the hyperlink and edit. To add a substate, select the add icon and select the base state. So our base state is going to be draft. And our substate is just going to be demo for this example. So we'll select the substate name and display name. We need to toggle the start date as well here and apply. Now we're going to add a transition. To do this, in the Workflow States and Transition table, we need to select the previously created substate. Then select the hierarchy icon and select the to state. Subdone closed. And apply. To add another transition, we just start typing here. So this is going to be submitted. And apply. And if we expand here, we can see our transitions. Closed and submitted. Now from the original one, we just want to remove the transitions in here. So just to remove these, select them and select this minus icon and apply. And the same with this one. Select it, select the minus icon and apply. To add another substate, click on the add icon, select the base state from the drop-down list. So this is draft again, and substate this time is review. And toggle the start date. Then apply. So we can see the two substates now here. Click on save to save changes to your workflow. Now how to release a company solution. Once you're okay with the configuration, the solution is ready for release. You move the solution from its edit state to test. It then executes the pack process in the background. Once complete, the release solution will appear in the Company Solutions Catalog. Let's see how to release a company solution in the next demo. So you come to Available, Company Solutions, find the solution that you created, click on the hyperlink, select Edit, move it to Test, and then you would move it to Released. For this class, I'm not going to move this solution to the further state as the process takes time. However, we'll be able to verify the solution in the POET network as other solutions are already applied to the network. How to activate the solution. A system administrator uses OPUS administration to activate the solution for a specific network. To do this, they edit the network settings, select the custom solution option, and then save the changes. Let's walk through how to activate the solution in the next demo. First, apply the custom solution to a network. To do that, you go into Administration, Network and Apps, I'm going to apply a filter here for POET and apply. Select the desired network. I'm just going to use this one as an example. And edit. By default, the standard solution is applied, but we can see a company solution has already been applied here. Let's apply the solution that we created and save. Now I'm going to assign the custom role to a user. To do that, go to Admin and Users and Network Members. You can filter on the email address if you wish to. I'm going to select this user, click on the hyperlink, and select Edit. And then under the Roles section, click on the Add icon. And here in the drop-down menu, you can see the custom role we created. Select it and save. For this access to take effect, you'll need to log out and log back in again as the user. We're now going to verify the applied company solution. Select My Networks and select the correct network. Click on Go, and then under Incidents, go to Medavonic Incidents, select Add New, and notice that the workflow has the new substate in it. That brings us to the end of this training session. To start with, we looked at an introduction to OSE, then the architecture of OSE, how to navigate the OPUS Ensemble user interface, how to prepare to configure a solution. We took a look at business object types in OSE, how to configure pages, menu items, roles, workflows, and finally how to release a company solution. Thanks for your time watching this training session. If you have any follow-up questions, please email tracesyncuniversity@traceync.com.